What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, we're going to be covering the brand new artifacts and which ones are going to be the best for what units. And we're going to cover every single unit currently in the game, and we're going to put them all inside this wonderful little tier list. So I've categorized them three ways. Okay, so we got the Burning Blessing, which is right over here. We got the Burning Curse right over here, and I've got the Burning Greed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go one at a time. For each artifact, I'm going to give you guys an explanation of what each artifact does. We're going to go 2-piece, 4-piece, 8-piece set effects, and then we're going to start categorizing each one at a time and place the best hunters for those categories and see which artifacts work best for them. Okay, so keep that in mind. So first off, we're going to start off with the Burning Blessing. So let's read out what this does. Okay, so Burning Blessing is essentially going to be your support set. And the 2-piece set, whenever you tag out, it applies the blessing effect, which increases the user's damage and their team by 8% for 25 seconds duration. Sorry, cooldown is 25 seconds, duration is 10 seconds. So this can happen every 15 seconds with the cooldown with the 2-piece set. When you go over to the 4-piece set, the blessing effect is now enhanced to Enhanced Blessing. It activates when tagging out or using a support skill being obviously one of Jinu's skills. So this actually will affect Jinu. Increases the user's damage dealt by 10% and recovers their HP by 0.2% every 1 second. Unable to activate the blessing effect, obviously, so they can't stack. It will give you the automatic 10% instead of the 8%. Okay, so this one, the key thing here is the fact that it's not just tagging out, it's also a support skill. So Jinu can actually use this and get himself the buff as well. And then the 8 set effect here activates when tagging out or using a support skill, increases the user's damage dealt by 20% and recovers their HP by 0.2%. Cooldown is 25 seconds. This time the duration though lasts for 20 seconds. So this will have a little bit of a global cooldown of 5 seconds overall. So the cool thing is here, Jinu can use all three of these ones. Depending on how you play the game, any of these three will work really well. The best one I find for him is going to probably Burning Curse, because of the amount of damage it does, but Burning Greed also is a crit rate and crit damage one too, and also will increase as soon as you do break effects. And then with the AP set, I believe you do 30% more damage as well too with Weakened Elemental. So realistically, his two best ones are going to be this one. This is one I wouldn't recommend. So for Jinu, I'm going to leave him aside for now. We'll talk more about him later, okay? So you guys can tell right away this is going to be a support set. So units like Meilin, right? Units like, where is she? Libora. Now Libora is going to be a little bit unique. Depending how you use her, you can use her as a support unit or you can use her as a DPS crit damage. So I'm going to put her here for now. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll leave her here for now. Okay, so Min obviously is a big one for this one here. And then we have ourselves a couple other units here that will help as well. We have ourselves, there we go, Johi, who will be a good one there. And then it's up to you if you want to use her like this, you can, and Park Heejin. I would say those units right there are probably going to be the best ones for this specific set. You can also technically put Song in here as well too if you're looking for a little bit support versus DPS for him from an AoE perspective. But these units here are probably going to shine the most with this specific set, okay? So this is the roundup here of units that will use this. Now, if we look at the Burning Curse one, which is going to be more of your DPS, this one has a debuff and a buff for you. And it's very important to note the debuff because it is pretty big. And if you're not good at dodging or surviving, this might not be the right set for you. So keep this one in mind. Okay, so 2-piece set applies the curse effect. Increases damage taken by you, the user, by 20%. So you take 20% more damage when you have the 2-piece set on. But it also increases the damage dealt by 10% and additionally increases damage dealt by 0.1% every second, stacking up to 100 times. And there's no effect here. You just gotta keep it on. The moment you start the battle, every second you're going to get 0.1% more damage increase up to 100 times. I've seen the stack on my free-to-play, and let me tell you guys, I kill Cerberus way faster with this 2-piece set. So, like I said, Jinu will take advantage of this one or this one, depending on how you play. I'll put him here for now. We'll move him down after, okay? Now, the 4-piece set, the user has a 25... When the user's HP goes below 25%, or 25% or less, I should say, they recover 25% of their active HP. It only happens once per dungeon though. Keep that in mind. So this is more like your oh shit button. In case you are about to die, this is going to give you back HP so you actually don't die and game over, right? So that's like an oh shit button. I personally wish this was more DPS than it was a safe fail safe, but it is what it is. So the 4-piece I don't think is that mandatory, but again, depending on your playstyle, because of that extra damage you take, this might actually help you survive and make you use the actual set itself. Now, the AP set is where it gets crazy. It becomes the Burning Curse compared to Curse. You still take the 20% damage, but your damage increases by 30%, not 10%, 30%. And additionally, you deal 0.2% damage every 1 second, stacking up to 100 times, which makes it easily the best DPS set in the game, by far. By far. So let's talk a little bit about units that we use this. So Alicia for sure, Choi 110%. Because no other set really fits for him. I would say SM Beck will be a pretty good option here as well too. Dong Su would be a really good option here as well too, as long as you go defensively. Saw we're going to keep away from there. Lim will keep away. No, not there either. She would use it as well too. Joe would use it. Kang would use this. And then we have ourselves pretty much, actually Park would use this as well too. So these would be the best units here to put here. Now Cha could be, the beauty with Cha is she's questionable. You can use her here with the stats, or you can use her here. So she actually shines both ways, and same thing with Alicia. She can shine both ways here as well too. And the reason why this is a better set for both of them, to be honest, and I'll explain to you guys very shortly, there's a specific reason why the next set uses breakers versus actual DPS. Okay, so we'll talk more about that. Now the next set is going to be called the Burning Greed set. Yes, it will be affecting more of the break units, but it also helps non-break units as well too. Okay, so let me just show you guys how this works. Actually, no, as a matter of fact, this only affects break units. I should say, sorry guys, it's only break units. So Jinwoo, depending on your setup, can take advantage of this too if you have break skills on him, because every time he does a break skill, it'll activate the greed effect. So you can go either or here. Okay, so I'll put him here now just so you guys can see this will work for him as well. So the 2P set. When the user hits a target with an attack that deals break damage, specifically the keyword is break damage, it applies the greed effect. It increases the user's critical hit rate by 1%, stacking up to 10 times. Cooldown is 1.5 seconds, so it does have a little bit of a global cooldown, and then it's permanent. So the moment you hit 10 stacks, you keep that permanently. That doesn't go away. All right, the 4P set, when the greed effect stacks 10 times, now remember, you have to activate greed, and the only way to do that is to do break damage, right? It changes it to enhance greed, increases the user and their team members' critical hit rate by 10% and critical hit damage by 15%. Now remember, this is permanent and this will affect everybody, including Jinwoo. So somebody who has this in a raid will also be able to help you guys get, and including him, get that 10% and that 15% additional crit damage, which is huge, obviously, right? And then lastly, when attacking enemies that have elemental weakness, the break effect increases by 30%. That's massive amount of break effect. And then also enhances the enhanced greed to burning greed. This increases the users and their team members' crit rate by 15% and their critical hit damage by 30%. So, as you guys can tell, this is built for all of your breakers, right? So pretty much your breakers are all going to go right in here and they're going to sit in here. Now, I want to make this clear. These new sets are not made for everybody, okay? I'm putting them in here because I'm just showing you guys who would take the most advantage of each one, but it doesn't mean that the new sets are going to be the best sets for every single unit in the game. Sometimes you're going to want to stick to the old sets if you have better stats, but the moment your stats increase and you have the ability to get yourself more stats that you want with the new sets, you definitely want to go for them, okay? And the reason why, of course, is number one, stats are going to be higher. Number two, these effects are much better. And number three, all these effects actually do affect Jinwoo as well too, giving you more power. Now, it doesn't mean to avoid every single old effect. Like, you still want to use a holy set for some of your HP units because Jinwoo gets 8% attack from that. You still want to get destroyer set once in a while to give everybody the ability to get their ult, etc., right? So don't neglect the older sets just because of stats as well. Keep in mind, you do want to support your units a little bit with, for example, Destroyer set, which gives ult a lot faster. There's no set here that provides you that specific buff. Okay, so keep that in mind. Destroyer set is very unique. One hit kill is very unique, etc. There are a lot of out there old sets, even though the stats may be lower, that you may want to consider for your support units or for your DPS units based on what you have them built as. Right, so this is pretty much it. This is how I would categorize each one. Let me know if you guys have any comments or questions. This is Payne. Again, please remember, on your free-to-play account, go for these. They're worth it. They're absolutely worth it. And like for my free-to-play account, I'll just show you guys real quick. I've been farming Serb and getting myself all these like different gear. I've actually been able to get pretty decent artifacts so far. Like look at this one here with crit. Unfortunately, attack didn't get anything. I've got attack one here with crit, and then I'm working on my way to get other sets as well too, to make it worthwhile for my units to use them. So Don't neglect these. They make a massive difference. And just so you guys know, on my pay to win account, I actually got a full set for Saw, for example, and a full set for Jinnu. And let me tell you guys, I'm shaving like a minute off of these Vulcan fights now. So it's huge, huge, huge extra DPS for you guys to use. It just takes time. So take your time, get these sets, and hopefully this tier list helped you guys out. All right, guys. Again, this is Payne. Appreciate you guys watching and supporting. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.